cornstarch does not react well to acid, and it will break down quicker. So that's why I chose to use the flour. In case you wanted to make this pudding, say, a day in advance, it would hold up very well in the refrigerator for you. You can see I'm getting some thickening there on the bottom, and I'm just going to wait for it to boil through. Another little hint I wanted to give you is when you notice that I put my flour, and you know what? I missed a key ingredient. No wonder. Happens to everybody, doesn't it? I forgot the lemon juice. I was going, God, that's getting really thick really fast. But it's that correctable. All I had to do is put it in, and I'm going to whisk it real quick. I thought it was getting thick awfully fast. When you put your flour and your sugar together with your eggs, most people don't realize that sugar is actually an acid, and it will cook your eggs and cause little spots and lumpiness in your yolk, so it's really important to get it mixed up and get it going right away. If you've ever made like a vanilla pudding at home where you've mixed your sugar and your eggs and not gotten your milk in fast enough, you will have seen that. So, what did I say about always watching your recipe and making sure you measure twice? Also remember to use all of your ingredients. So there we go. That is you can see it's going to start thickening up in just a second here. Does anybody have any questions so far on anything? Yes, ma'am.
Can you use bottled lemon juice, or do you?
You could use bottled lemon juice, and we're going to do a trick in just a minute that would make that not such a harsh thing. I definitely know there's a flavor difference. And on the same note, that this could actually very easily be made with lime juice. And nowadays, if you look in a lot of the grocery stores with the fresh juice craze that we have, a lot of grocery stores are carrying fresh squeezed lemon juice ready to go. I actually bought a gallon of pasteurized lemon juice for today because I needed to make 8 batches of this lemon curd between the cooking and the demos and everything. See, there you go. We're just starting to get the boil, and I'm going to go for another minute. What I'm going to do to add that extra punch to it is I'm going to add just a little bit of fresh lemon zest. We're going to turn that off. And now that the fire is off, the pan is still heavy enough, it'll boil a little bit, but I know it won't scald, so it'll be safe. I'm actually going to just take a nice fresh lemon, and has everybody seen the rasps? These are one of the most popular new tools in cooking, and I've fallen absolutely head over heels for it. It's great I'm going to use it for lemon now, but one of the things I've also learned at home is garlic. If you don't want to sit and mash the garlic and chop it, hit it on the rasp. Grates in just like beautiful fresh garlic, and these rinse in a half a second in the sink. The other one at home that I love it for is ginger. Not many of us use a whole hand of ginger at a time, but you can keep the ginger in the freezer. Grab it out, hit it on the rasp, get what you need, and put it back in the freezer, and I'm not constantly wasting another piece of ginger. And if you happen to be a cocktail fan, it's also fantastic for like a fine rasp of chocolate over the top of a chocolate martini. Or try a little bit of lemon zest similar to this in your next, lemon drop cocktail. It's absolutely a fabulous addition.
Is the lemon zest a little bitter, or?
I can't hear?
Is the lemon zest bitter, or is it just an intensifying?
It's an intensifying flavor. So much of the flavor of the lemon is actually in the skin, it's in the oils. It's the white part underneath that is the pith that is what gets bitter. So this gets you just the perfect fine shaving off the top of it. It's rather humorous in the catering company to me as we do this so often. We also are open Monday through Friday for a coffee and iced tea and cookies, which I hope some of you have had. Some of our cookies are fabulous. I go into the walk-in to get a lemon to cut to put out with the iced tea, and they all look like this. They all are missing 3/4 of the skin, and it's like, I have to get them to start using because it's easier to use the gallon of fresh squeezed lemon juice. So as you can see, this is cooked and smooth. This is hot. This does need to cool completely before we move on to actually making the souffle portion of the recipe. At this stage, this is fabulous for a light lemon sauce. This is fabulous for like a soft lemon pie, but you could very easily fold about 4 tablespoons of butter into this, whisk it well so the butter's completely combined, and then cool it. It would make a great lemon meringue pie filling. So it's a great, baseline arsenal to have on that. So we're gonna go ahead and let that cool. The next aspect I'm gonna go to is whipping my egg whites for the souffles themselves. And we're gonna take a peek. Oh, some of them just fell on me. I hope we'll be okay there. The oven door was a little tighter than I expected. So we've got the stand mixer here with the whisk. I'm gonna whip 2 egg whites. And I don't know how many of you have done your angel food cakes or your more delicate cakes. You know that it is important to keep no egg yolks in the bowl. Really, after 20 years of baking, if a tiny bit gets in, I'm not as worried, but you also have to be careful that the whole unit is clean. Butter, it's not actually the egg yolk, it's the fat that does not allow it to reach the volume that you want it to reach. Start that there. We're going to start it and bring it up fairly quickly, and we're going to whip in a 1/4 cup of sugar. And actually, see, I don't want to use that sugar because I used it to oil my shells, and there's a slight chance of a residue, so I'm going to go to another fresh sugar. I knew I brought 2 for a reason. And the reason for the fat is the egg, the proteins in the egg whites are building on top of each other, and they need to be able to cling to each other to get the volume. And that's why if you have any fat in there, the fat's going to do what it does and let things slide away, and they won't be able to grow to the volume that you want them to be. I've prepared ahead, and I already have a chilled batch of the lemon curd, and you can see the nice thick consistency, and this is with no butter in it. This is just ready to go. Uh-oh. I don't think the mixing bowl likes quite this little amount in it. I think it's ready for a bigger batch. I believe some of you already know who we are at Preferred Sonoma Caterers. Is anybody familiar with us? We are a full, what's called off-premise caterer, meaning that we do not have a facility or a hall where you can come to. We go to you. And it's actually one of my favorite aspects of the business. I get to go to some of these single most incredible places in Sonoma County and call it my office for the day. Yesterday, I had the pleasure of being all the way up at the top of Cundy Estate Winery at a location that they call Boot Hill for a beautiful wedding for 166 people that was really interesting because it was a Baptist Hindu wedding. And it was a lot of fun. I actually got to work with the parents of the groom who taught me how to make 2 different Indian dishes so that we could serve them at the wedding appropriately. We made a matah palau, which is basically